Nekhbet was a noticeable ancient Egyptian goddess associated with Upper Egypt. Title: Nekhbet, the vulture guardian of sovereignty and pre-dynastic power. In the arid cliffs of Nekhbet, long before the consolidation of Upper and Lower Egypt, a divine presence loomed over the white limestone city. She was Nekhbet, ancient, regal, and unyielding. Before Narmer's unification, before Memphis rose to prominence, Nekhbet ruled the psyche of southern rulers as the patroness of Upper Egypt. Her symbol, the white vulture, soared above royal processions, bearing the weight of dynastic legitimacy and ancestral protection. Origins in the White City, Nekhbet was born of the early pre-dynastic worship that began in El-Kab, known then as Nekhbet. This city, perched on the east bank of the Nile opposite Hierakonpolis, Nekhen, was one of the earliest centers of religious and political authority. Nekhbet did not emerge as a goddess of fertility or the Nile. She was not maternal in the way of Hathor, nor cosmic like Nut. Instead, her dominion was sovereignty. She embodied divine authority. The earliest ceramic seals, stone palettes, and votive offerings to her were stark, white-painted vulture feathers, ivory carvings, and temple walls with signs of Nubian exchange, all connecting her to the guardianship of rule and the militarization of spirit. Her cult arose alongside the rise of early kingship in Nekhen, the political nucleus of Upper Egypt. The first kings did not rule by charisma. They ruled by divine sanction, and that sanction came from Nekhbet. Her vulture wings extended over the rulers who bore her emblem on crowns, staves, and ritual objects. The vulture crown and unification. When Narmer, the Scorpion King of the South, initiated the unification of Upper and Lower Egypt around 3100 BCE, he carried not only the red crown of the Delta, but the white crown of the South. That white crown was Nekhbet's. It represented her dominion, her blessing of kingship. She was the celestial matron of the southern lands, and her approval legitimized any claim to power. Depictions on the Narmer palette show dual gods and dual crowns. But hovering above these mortal events was Nekhbet, paired in duality with Wadjet of the north. Together they formed the twin goddesses who would guard every pharaoh of the two lands. Nekhbet's elevation to national protector alongside Wadjet marks a critical turning point. A local guardian became a state deity. No other goddess made such a transition with such speed and enduring reverence. Temple power and royal association, her temple in El-Kab became a royal sanctuary. It housed stelae, birth records, and coronation rites of kings from the first dynasty forward. Royal visits to her temple were not mere pilgrimages, they were rituals of affirmation. No king of the south could claim divinely sanctioned rule without kneeling before Nekhbet. From Jer to Den, her emblem was etched into serex and palatial walls. But Nekhbet was not passive. She was invoked in warfare. She was depicted stretching her wings across the battlefield, guiding the king's arrow, shielding him with divine feathers. Her vulture image stood above battlefield standards and temple doorways. Inscriptions from the Middle Kingdom declare her as she who opens the way in battle and Lady of Heaven, Guide of Kings. She became protector not just of the throne, but of lineage. Royal mothers bore her talismans during childbirth. Nekhbet's role expanded into midwifery, not as nurturer, but as fierce guardian of royal succession. She was invoked to protect the pharaoh in infancy, to shield the heir from assassination, and to enforce the sacred contract of Maat through continuity of rule. The wings of sovereignty in architecture and art in the Old Kingdom, Nekhbet became ubiquitous in temple architecture. Her wings stretched across lintels in temples from Abydos to Saqqara. Her imagery evolved. She was no longer just a white vulture above the king. She became a pair of wings with shen rings, symbols of eternal protection grasped in her claws. These wings were not decorative. They encoded state ideology. The king is protected eternally by the goddess of the south. In reliefs, Nekhbet appears over the head of Horus, whispering divine right into the ears of the falcon god. In funerary contexts, her image appears on sarcophagi of queens and princes, confirming her role as guardian not only of sovereign life, but of royal death. During the reign of Thutmose III and the 18th dynasty, Nekhbet was carved into the walls of Karnak and Luxor, blessing the king with years of rule, stability, and strength. Even in Thebes, far from her southern home, Nekhbet's presence affirmed the unbroken lineage of divine protection. The duality with Wadjet and political symmetry. The greatest legacy of Nekhbet was her integration into the ideology of unified kingship. Every pharaoh from the 5th dynasty to the Ptolemies invoked the two ladies, Nekhbet and Wadjet, in official titulary. The phrase, "he of the two ladies," was more than a name. It was a cosmic contract. The king must balance the wild fire serpent Wadjet of the north and the soaring, silent hunter Nekhbet of the south. Where Wadjet represented aggression and domination, Nekhbet represented endurance and righteous sovereignty. Where Wadjet struck with venom, Nekhbet protected with encircling wings. The pharaoh's balance of these forces defined his legitimacy. He was not king by sword alone, but by the divine equilibrium of the serpent and the vulture. This duality was not mythic poetry, it was political theology. Royal scribes, in diplomatic correspondence with Nubia and Sumer, inscribed the authority of Nekhbet as emblematic of continuity and divine order. To reclaim your own sovereignty of mind, spirit, and destiny, you must walk the sacred terrain of your ancestors. Let Nekhbet's wings guide you. Relive the past, not in nostalgia, but in wisdom. Embrace what once was sacred and let it form the foundation of what you are destined to build. Kindly click like, subscribe, and share this channel.